Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to Bucko Brew, powered by DeFair Coffee and Tea. I'm your host, Anthony DiNardo. With me, of course, we have Jim Rosati on this beautiful Monday morning. Jim, how you doing today?
It might be beautiful where you're at. It is scorching hot here.
Oh, well, sorry to hear that.
I mean, it's 7 a.m. When it's in the 70s at 7 a.m., it's gonna be a hot one.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, it's 78 here. That's just typical.
That's hot
So,
for 7 a.m.
all right. Yeah. Well, welcome. Welcome to Florida.
Good morning. Yeah. The heat index has been over 100 each of the past few days, so I'm sure we'll get there again today.
I'll say it's kind of crazy. Like, I mean, I'm looking right now and the high today's 91. And I'm like, that's actually kind of cool. It's in the low 90s today for being summer. Hey, actually, summer's finally actually here as well. Official.
That's true.
So,
Summer started Friday?
yeah.
Yeah. Friday or Saturday, one of those
Saturday.
days.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Because my mom's birthday is actually on that day. So that was Saturday that I called. It was a very good son.
There you go. Happy late birthday, Mrs. DiNardo.
There it is. There it is. Hi, Mom. If I'm not watching, thanks. But anyways, yeah. So how about them Buccos? They won yesterday.
Yeah, it was a rough series. First couple games didn't look too good. Yesterday though, I mean, we did the post game together. It was an enjoyable second half of that game. Like once
Yeah.
the fourth inning on, bats spoke up.
Maybe it'll carry over going forward. It's not.
Maybe we'll see. We'll see. There's some. There's at least one very fun pitching matchup coming up this week that I'm looking forward to seeing. So
Yeah.
I don't know how much scoring there will be that game.
Same. I hope. Well, yeah. We'll talk, I guess. Yeah, that's something we missed out on. The Screwball Skeins. This isn't as sexy as that, but something sexy is coming up. I'm excited for that.
And we missed
Yeah.
Skeens. We missed Skeens DeGrom too by just one day.
You know, I didn't think about that. Yeah, we did, huh?
So like he was sandwiched right in between Scooble DeGrom. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well. Oh well.
At least they won his start.
Anyways, but no, today we'll go talk. We're gonna wrap up the Texas Rangers series here. We're gonna talk about Tommy Pham and kind of came out and talked about his vision and his woes this year. Speaking of vision, we're talking about the lack of Ben Cherington's vision on this rebuild and what he should be doing right now. Checking his LinkedIn. And then we're going to talk about the upcoming Milwaukee Brewers series as well, and some promotions in the minor leagues. So before we do get into all of that, though, tell you a little about the Fair. So the Fair is a family and employee-owned and operated business. They believe that coffee and tea are one of life's simplest and most accessible pleasures, and when enjoyed thoughtfully, can open your eyes to the here and now. They have 5 locations across the city of Pittsburgh, including their flagship in the heart of Pittsburgh's historic Strip District. To learn more, check them out on Instagram or head over to the website at thefair.coffee. Of course, DeFair is spelled DEFER.coffee. And of course, as you can see on the bottom right-hand side of the screen, Jim, tell them how people can save 30% off at DeFair.
Yeah, if you put in promo code NS930 when you check out, 30% off. No matter how much you're buying, too.
That's
right. You're buying 1 bag of coffee. You're buying 20 bags of coffee. Obviously, the more bags of coffee that you buy, the more you save.
That's right. As the children say, no cap. Not for that reason, but there's no cap. As much as you want. So yeah, head on over DEFER.coffee, DeFair.coffee, 30% off at NS930 code. All right, Jim. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about this series, of course. I think the big moment, of course, as we mentioned, the thing we got to talk about yesterday, the second half of yesterday's game, the offense kind of broke out a bit. We've seen some guys that you're needing to see some offense from. produce some. Spencer Horwitz, Brian Hayes, even Tommy Pham getting in on the action to really help out. It wasn't so much the top half of the offense; it was more the back half. And as we keep saying, if this team was a little more average, you could see some life here. So, I mean, what stood out for you on this series that you want to talk about?
I mean, the biggest thing that stood out for me is that like O'Neal Cruz still is just he needs to get right. He needs to get right offensively. He's had a really, really rough go of it lately. Like Fangraphs does their last 7 days power ranking thing.
Mm-hmm.
And O'Neal Cruz is the 74th best player overall in baseball, according to these rankings. But in the last 7 days, he's 390th. There's only 30 teams. So when you're 390th, that means you're on average 13th on a team. That's not good. It's not good at all. And I mean, he's behind every other Pittsburgh Pirate in the majors right now when it comes to like their last 7 days. So yeah, there's something wrong with Cruz. He's striking out way too much. He's not making enough contact. It seems like his approach is just different than what it was before. I don't know what's going on. I mean, he's still walking a decent amount, but like before, when he was in that leadoff spot when he first got in there, like he was like really attacking pitches in the zone early on. And I feel like now he's kind of gotten away from that a little bit. And he's finding himself behind in the count all the time. And when you're behind in the count, it's tough to hit. I don't care who you are. If you're down 1-2-0-2, like it's hard to hit at that point. So I don't know. He's got to pitchers have adjusted to him. He's adjusted. I mean, we've seen this before with him. He's got to adjust. His WRC plus is down to 104.
Yeah.
So like he's like creeping towards league average territory now offensively, which not great. Not great.
100%. I wanted to bring this up yesterday on the show, didn't. This is what's killing him. This called strike, just fastball right down the. I mean, the thing about O'Neal Cruz way back in the day, ultra aggressive, swinging. I mean, you throw a slider down and away, he's striking out, right? And he's changed that this year. He's been more selective, and we've applauded him for that. And I just feel as of right now, like you're talking about, Jim, I mean, this guy is just sitting there watching good pitches go right by him. This is just one example. This is one he struck out on. I mean, there was one earlier as well that he just watched, 90 something down the middle, and he just stood there and watched it. And I don't know. He's just not right. He's just not right. He just doesn't look comfortable up there. 1-3, nibbling on the edges. He fouls off, strike one up top of the zone. Watches ball 2 go by. Good, right? Swings it at the third pitch, right in the zone. Miss. Okay, like you said, down 1-2. But then you watch strike 3, sinker, like basically in the middle of the zone here. Top, like what's going on, O'Neal? You got to swing at that, and that's just one example here. But absolutely, man, like he just doesn't look comfortable at all at the plate right now.
Yeah, he looks like he's. Once you get to 2 strikes, it's hard. But it looks like he's out. He's just up there guessing, and like if it's not the pitch that he thinks that's coming in, he's missing it. And I think he just. I don't know. He needs to either get back. He just needs to. He needs to make some sort of adjustment because whatever he's doing right now, from an approach standpoint, it's not working.
Do you think this is also a work yourself through it type of adjustment? Do you think this is maybe? And I'm asking these questions because I think these are valid, right?
Yeah.
O'Neal Cruz has been struggling for quite some time now as well. This isn't just like a week or two and whatever. Like, do you think this is take a few days off? Get away? Do you think this is, maybe also batting leadoff at this point in time isn't best for you or the team? Or just go out there and keep going, fighting through this?
I don't know about days off. Like, I still think he's just got to hit his way through this.
Hmm.
And the other thing too is like if he's not in there, this lineup's really rough looking when he's not in there because there's not too many people who even are capable of doing some damage, and like he's one of them. So I think you got to leave him in there. You got to see him just kind of work his way through it. I'm probably I'm probably not moving him either. So I don't know. I think it's just I think you keep trotting him out there, let him work through it. I don't think we face any lefties this week. No, it doesn't look like it. So at least not in this coming series. Yeah, let him face off here against Milwaukee. It's a ballpark that he's always typically played well in. So yeah, let's just keep running him out there. I think
Yeah.
he's too the potential's too good to just like let him sit.
That's what stinks about this roster construction is, I mean, you're right. Like you could sit him maybe for the betterment of him, but even with him struggling, him in the lineup, just the ability, that's really the only person that can do damage on this team. And like if it's
Mhm.
not him in center field, who I mean Canario, I guess. Canario struggles as well. So I mean, you're right there, and I understand that, and I think obviously like for him right now too, like he has to fight though. He has to see pitching. So I don't know if days off, but I mean, I could be talked into, of course, like maybe batting first right now isn't the key.
Yeah.
Maybe putting Kutch up there. Not that there's gonna be a huge difference, anyways. I mean, it's not like you're putting him down to seventh, you know, in that sense. But like I mean, I think he has to swing through this. He's too talented, and it's not as if it's like, oh, okay, Ono Cruz is now just bad. I mean, he's been good for over a full calendar year as well. He is definitely having a struggle right now. Brian Reynolds has struggled the entire season, so you know what I mean. He
Yep.
has to fight through this. He has to get better, and I trust that he will. But again, he is just looking very, very uncomfortable at the plate right now in doing so. Um, yeah, so that was certainly a standout. Like I said, O'Neill Cruz struggling mightily. Anything else that you want to talk about with this Ranger series before we go any further?
Um. No, I mean, maybe just mention Andrew McCutchen passes Joe DiMaggio for
Yeah.
hits this weekend. So that's
Nobody
pretty neat.
know nobody knew exactly when, but he
Yeah, that
did.
was weird. On the broadcast, they were saying like he broke it yesterday because they were saying DiMaggio had 2,215 hits. And I don't know where they're getting that data from because every single place you can find statistics on the internet says DiMaggio had 2,214 hits. So I think the broadcast was just wrong. I don't know. It's weird. Like the whole
It threw
weekend, they
us
were
off.
like the whole weekend, it was weird. Like they kept saying over and over and over again that DiMaggio had 2,215 hits, and like we're talking to each other because we're like, we want this is something we want to talk about, but who's right? And then you look at every site, and it's like he's got 2,214 hits. So Kutch broke that. Like Kutch passed him on Saturday. But like no one recognized it until Sunday for some reason. It was it
Yeah.
was it was an odd. That was odd.
Everything was
I
so
didn't
weird.
understand that.
It was also weird because I think,
Yeah.
and I could be wrong. I thought they talked about it on the broadcast when he tied him like the first time originally or whatever. Maybe not, but regardless,
Yeah.
we had a graphic ready, and then like I said, we were all confused because on the broadcast, like, oh, and he tied DiMaggio, and I was like, oh, I thought we got that ready and prepped when he tied him, but maybe we're okay. Fine, he tied. I thought he broke it. And then it's like, as we're looking, it's like,
Mhm.
wait, he did break it. What's going on? So then we posted it, like, kind of scared a little bit here.
Yeah.
But yeah, everywhere has 22-14, and the broadcast even yesterday had 22-15. But regardless, yeah, he passes DiMaggio. Kudos. That's kind of cool, right? I mean, that's got to be cool as hell. You passing Joe DiMaggio. Take out the circumstances, people. Just think about that. That's cool. So yeah, there's that. Also, just a little bit again, David Bednar is just so good. So good. Officially a 140 FIP since his return, 210 ERA. Yeah, he's really, really good. That's
Yeah.
that's what I'm happy about too. All right. Do we want to talk about people that are not so good now?
Let's do that. Yeah.
Yeah. So yesterday, Tommy Pham had some interesting quotes to say. We know he's been struggling quite a bit. How bad? Well, being the worst player on the Pirates. And that's a feat because the Pirates are like one of the worst teams in baseball, especially offensively. He's got a negative .8 WAR. He's batting 209, 289, 247. Good for a 50 weighted runs created plus. But Jim, yesterday, he had some interesting things to say.
Yeah, I mean, it's not well known, but it's already been known. Like Tommy Pham suffers from, I don't really know how to pronounce this, keratoconus. I don't know.
That works for me.
But
But yeah.
he's got eye problems, like degenerative eye issues that cause his vision to be blurry, and it's bothered him kind of on and off throughout his career. There's plenty of stories you can go back and read from his career about this. Um, but yeah, he goes yesterday after the game saying that, like, the only reason why he's not hitting right now is because he basically can't see. Like, he's saying he's had
Mhm.
vision problems all year. He can't figure out what like the disease that he has causes, like, his eyes to have some weird shape or something. So he needs like these custom contacts, and um, he's just been it's been off like all year long. Apparently, he says, "I'm telling you guys, it's all visual. My contact situation has been a little complicated. We're headed in the right direction finally. I've been making changes weekly. I think we're headed in the right direction. I'm pretty optimistic going forward now, so I should get that first homer, hopefully." Pham believes his struggles at the plate in 2025 have due in large part to his vision and lack of preferred contact lenses. I don't really think it's mechanical. I think it was all visual for me. My prescription's been off, so I've been adjusting on the fly. So we've got a guy, one of our main free agent signings this offseason, who apparently can't see and hasn't been able to see all year.
Yeah.
And if you've been paying attention, you could kind of see these signs. He's always messing with his eyes. He's always changing his contacts out. He had to be removed from a game earlier this year because he couldn't see, because he was having eye problems. He missed some games earlier this year because of some eye issues. So, like, this has been a problem for him. And I'm not faulting Tommy Pham for not being able to see. Like, it's not his fault that he's got this issue. It's not his fault that the Pirates are paying him $4 million. Like, this just goes back to, like, what are the Pirates doing here? Trotting out a guy who can't see, thinking that, like, he's gonna be able to hit the ball. If this is truly the issue, where, like, he can't see, why is he playing? How did this not come up in any sort of physical where it's like, hey, we're going to have to spend money on you in this offseason. Let's give you an eye test to make sure you can see the baseball. Like, that's my issue here, is like, you've got, it's not like this is a new thing that just popped up. Like, this is an issue he's had, and they couldn't identify this. And then when they did, they still just, like, kept playing a guy who couldn't see. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me that this team would, one, acquire a guy who's having this issue, and two, just continue to play him while he's just clearly can't hit at all. Like, two offseason acquisitions this season, this year. Spencer Horwitz, where they were like, oh yeah, we knew about his wrist issues.
Right.
And then this guy, Tommy Pham, where, yeah, apparently he can't see.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, well, of course, for the Pirates, it turns out this way. Like, I know you want to say, like, oh, you had to get the guy who couldn't see, but Tommy Pham celebrated 10 years of service time this year. That means he's been in MLB for 9 other full years, right? He's been on multiple teams. he's had this issue for some time, like you've mentioned. It's out there, right? This isn't something that just crept up this past year or something. And of course, now the Pirates are left with air quotes damaged goods in that sense. He's had this and he's managed it throughout his career. So it's not as if it's something that it's like, oh, this is, this guy now has this situation. Like he's had this, right? He's managed it. He's had honestly, I mean, take away right now what's happening. Tommy Pham has had a good career. Like if Tommy Pham was a Pittsburgh Pirates for quite some time, we would have been happy. It's just that we're having him on the back end now when he's really, really bad, right? So like I don't really fault. It's like, oh, they got a guy who had this eye problem. He's had it, he's managed it, he's been able to manage it this entire time. It's just so piratey that this year now he hasn't really been able to manage it. He's been trying to find contacts, find something that fits, find something that works, right? All this time. He says every week he's switching things out to see, and he feels as if right now he's finally found something. So it's like, of course, the Pirates are the one where he's struggling to manage this with, right? And then you could ask and find out, like, well, if you're with the Pittsburgh Pirates, you're with MLB, you can't find the best optometrist to get this, to do this, to, you know what I mean? Like, you have the best of the best to work with. What's the case? I don't know enough. I'm not going to get him past the blame. It's just, again, it's just something that's like, well, of course, with the Pirates, it happens, right? Like you said, and of course, this offseason, the two biggest, and they were the biggest, you can argue why that's the biggest, but the two biggest offseason acquisitions is a guy who had to have wrist surgery because he has like a degenerative wrist and a guy who has degenerative eye issue, right? And here we are. The other part, like you say, is okay, you know this, and it's known, and it is what it is, but he's having these issues. Why is this guy like out there being tried out to play all the time? Like if he legit and you know that he can't see, why has he been playing so much?
Well, he should be on the IL.
Well,
Like,
right.
If the guy can't see, he shouldn't be on the team.
So it's like, oh yeah, we have a guy who legit can't even see well. We know he can't see well. He is officially our worst player on the team. Well, honestly, let's play him. I think the guys that we have we can still win with, and one of them can't see. Yeah, it's just like it's organization, man. Right. Like you can't see. Okay, go get this worked out. We're putting on the IL. We picked up Alexander Canario. He was performing pretty well at a point in time. Go get yourself right.
Yeah. It's like Steel CDW says in the comments, like it's just like the most pirate. This is just a Pirates thing to do, is to go in and do this. Most Pirates thing ever. And I think that's why I don't know. Like I feel like we haven't been maybe as hard on Pham as we could be, because like it's not his fault. Like I want everybody to know, like, this isn't Tommy Pham's fault. It's not Tommy Pham's fault. This is Ben Cherington's fault. This is Ben Cherington's fault. This is whoever's on the medical staff, their fault. This is just a failure across the board to put someone out there who's having issues like this. I mean, it's not fair to anybody either. Like, I don't know, maybe Tommy Pham isn't this bad, right? And I mean, he's not. Like, Tommy Pham has shown us, you mentioned the 10 years of service time. He's shown us over a 10-year period that he isn't this bad.
Well, I mean, he could be this bad at this point in time of his career.
At this point in time, I guess he could
historically,
be. But
like, historically, you wouldn't have expected him to be this bad. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, it just sucks. Like, this is absolutely ridiculous that the Pirates like came into the season and this is what they did. Like, this is what they did, and this is how the season's going. It's the 5th year. No, it's the 6th year of this quote unquote rebuild. But, you know, I'm not seeing anything being built. So I'm not really sure what's going on here with this rebuild. This was like, if you hired a construction company to tear down and rebuild a building, like, we'd still be just looking at rubble at this point, is what we're seeing. Like, this team is rubble. There has been nothing built here. And yesterday, Ben Cherington comes on the radio and says, you know, I believe we've got the people in this organization to win this year. He mentioned
Yeah.
this year. It's
Yeah.
like, Ben, what the hell are you talking about? This team sucks.
I'll say this. To me, they got the most expensive kitchen you can have. They got a really good kitchen, and that's it. And that's Paul Skeens. they 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 tore everything down. They waited 4 years. They put in a very nice kitchen. But no one's going and using a kitchen if you don't have a house. And that's what it is. They have the most amazing kitchen on the block. No one can touch this kitchen. It's just you can't.
There's
You're
no
not
roof
using it.
over it. They don't have
Right. You can't
walls.
use it.
Yeah.
You just have a
The,
kitchen.
the plumbing isn't even installed. Yeah.
Right. That's all. and and every 5th day it just gets poured on. You're
Yeah.
like, but it's a nice
Yeah.
kitchen. I don't understand why
Yeah.
nothing's working.
Yeah. It's just like I was doing the math yesterday, and I think in order to I was like, what is he seeing in this team? Because in order for this team to like bounce back, they need to go like they need to go 59 and 24 the rest of the way, something like that. That's not happening.
Do you remember a month ago when we
That's an
talked what they had to
insane
do
pace.
to get 500? Like when Don Kelly took over.
Yeah,
And
and
how
we're
like it's
talking.
not going to happen. And now we're a month later, and we're still talking about that. That
Yeah,
it's
I
going to be a
mean,
winning team.
right? Like they'd have to play like 120 win pace from this point forward to do anything. It's a joke. And I
Which, by
think
the
the
way,
issue.
they were on 100 loss pace.
Yeah, they were until yesterday. I think they
Yeah.
eclipsed it again. Like I think they're on 99 loss pace now.
Okay, man.
So much better. So much better. But I mean, again, this is the 6th year. Things clearly aren't getting better. Like, I don't know how you can look at this team and be like, yeah, you know what? I see this is gonna work if we give this guy one more year. If we give Ben Cherington one more year, I think he's gonna make this thing work. There are no signs of that. The guys coming up through, like we talked yesterday too, like there's no help. There's no one coming up to help this team anytime soon. The guys who are here are the guys who are here. So unless they get remarkably better, this team's going to continue to play poorly. Because guess what? You're not bringing anybody in via free agency, and the ones that you are going to bring in are going to be apparently injured or blind. Like those are your options on the free agency market. And then your trades that you're making, you're just not getting the return that you need out of these trades. Like even the Horwitz trade so far, like it's who knows what we'd be looking at if he was healthy and came in to start the year, but he wasn't. And this is just it's a repeated pattern that we're seeing that Ben Cherington can't identify and acquire talented baseball players. Like he just can't do it. I think we've seen maybe some success in the draft, and I do want to say like the drafting has gotten better from where it was under Neil Huntington. Like I think we all need to agree with that. There's also a difference where Ben's drafting a lot higher than Neil Huntington was, but the results of the drafts have been significantly better. Like you look at the first few, like his draft picks are all on this team, and they've at least made it here, and they're contributors, for the most part. But it's just not good enough. He's not acquiring any impact talent on the offensive side of the ball. So like it doesn't matter how good you can pitch. It doesn't matter if you got that great kitchen, in Paul Skeens. If you can't support it in any way, then you're left with a 31-48 team. And there's just nothing on there's nothing on the horizon that makes me think these guys are turning it around.
Yeah, man. This is loaded. We could spend a whole 4 shows, I feel like, on Ben Cherington, why he should go. Let's start here. Like you mentioned about year 6. 2020, he comes in. Odd year, get that, whatever. It's the start of a. That's the thing too. Like he didn't really like start this off as like a true rebuild. He kind of held on to guys. He didn't like come in here and just wipe the slate clean and get rid of it. Like Starling Marte was traded, And like that was it. So everyone talked about a rebuild, and that was fun. As before you guys really came on, but it was always like, where's the rebuild at? Like you keep talking and mentioning rebuild, but truly nothing's happened. It's just carried over. They traded Starling Marte and said, we're moving on. Then everything started, going from this team. So 2020, weird year, obviously, anyways, but 317 winning percentage. The next year, 2021, 377, 2022, 383. That's the year after is where you started seeing the Carlos Santanas, like these veterans come in. We were happy with that. We were pleased. They jumped to a 469 winning percentage. And that kind of showed like, okay, they're ready to take that next step. We were kind of waiting for that step. They finally took it. So 2024 is going to be a good year, right? Like now they're kind of here. Paul Skeens is coming, right? Like 2024 is going to be it, right? 469 winning percentage, the same as the year before. Okay. That kind of sucked. We're kind of hoping to see something better, more from that offseason, more from Ben Cherington. They settle the same thing. But hey, you know what? It's still close to 500. So 2025 is going to be the year, right? They're at a 392 winning percentage. The other thing, too, is like they should have been here last. Like 2024 should have been it, too. We don't talk about. I mean, what we've been talking for time and time again is just like, when are they going to like push on the accelerator? When are they going to go? Why is they kind of, we thought 2023 should have even been better. Like they should have instead, at least they got those veterans, but why not better veterans? Why not veterans to really make a push? But at least they got those veterans, right? So again, 2024, it was like, well, what's this offseason? Now 2025, what's this offseason? So again, it's just like, yeah, like where are they really going? They're going backwards now. That's what really sucks. And then, yeah, like you talk about the hitting. I'll give him this. You said baseball players. He's done well on the pitching side. Like for whatever reason, he's been able to identify some good, talented pitching, been able to develop it, right? Again, not even just like draft, but like in free agency. Like look at Andrew Heaney this year. Andrew Heaney's been fantastic. They've always been able to sign like a veteran too, who's like Quintana, right? They haven't been able to get value in flipping them, but he's been able to typically find some good pitching, right? And then you see that right now. The pitching is the strong point. Look at that rotation. Bailey Falter, the example. Like look at that rotation. Look at the bullpen for the most part. He just cannot find hitters at all. And it's not even as if like he can't find hitters. Whenever he does bring in a hitter, they tend to have like the worst seasons they've ever had. That's really the problem too. Again, like Tommy Pham is a good example of this. Like Tommy Pham couldn't even be just what he was, like a below average hitter. We wanted more, but you can settle for the 95 weighted runs created. Tommy, we can't even get that. He's half the player that he was offensively. He's at negative 0.8. Edward Olivares, like it's like, hey, you know what? I can see something in here. The trade I kind of like because whatever puts out the worst season he ever had. He's not even in baseball anymore. It's like anytime he makes a trade, makes something happen, like offseason signing, that guy gives you his worst performance ever, Brian De La Cruz. I could just keep going down the list. Like it's just
Rowdy Tellez.
Rowdy Tellez.
Like, yeah, same
right.
Thing.
They give you the absolute worst versions you've ever seen of them. Is that not a problem? Like, do you not see this? And you're going to say, let's continue this. How do you have any trust in Ben Cherington right now? And again, if you're Bob Nutting, you can't afford another rebuild. You have enough talent right here. You need something to change. But like you can't rebuild this team over again. You can't afford it as well. But can you also afford to have Ben Cherington to keep the status quo? What has he shown you that he says, I'm confident that he believes this is a winning team and it's going to be one? He's been saying that for 6 years.
Sort of, yeah. And I think that's just what's frustrating is, I mean, you're right. You're absolutely right. Everybody comes here and has their worst year ever, for the most part. Like way too many people do that. And it's like you'll bring in baseball players where like they're not great. Like we all knew none of us liked the Brian De La Cruz trade, but it was like, all right, well, I guess he's better than what we got. And then he immediately steps into the clubhouse, and he's the worst baseball player on the
And he
field. Every
wasn't
single
that
time.
even. Right.
He was terrible. Rowdy Tellez, you signed him, and none of us were excited about that. It was like, this is like the bare minimum that you could do. But it's like, but you know what? He should hit some homers, should hit a little bit. And then next thing you know, it's June 1st, and he's the worst hitter you've ever seen. So it's like, how many? And you mentioned Olivares too. Like Olivares, I actually like that acquisition. I thought, I was like, I think there's something here if you just play him a little bit more. Boom, worst season ever. Now he's in Japan. So it's like, yeah, it's rough, and like he's just got to go. He's gotta go, and it's frustrating because like the longer he's here, the longer it's gonna take for this team to get to where they are. Like I just have zero faith right now in Ben Cherington. I don't trust him to draft here in 3 weeks. The draft is coming up in 2.5 weeks. I don't trust him to run that draft. Hopefully, Justin Horowitz just has complete reign of that. It's like a group project for Justin Horowitz and his team, and Ben Cherington has nothing to do with that. Because like I don't want Ben Cherington to do anything right now. I don't want Ben Cherington to draft anybody. I don't want Ben Cherington to trade for anybody at this deadline. Like we've got there are people who are going to be traded this deadline, and there's going to be moves made that's going to affect this team's 2026 and 2027. And like I don't want Ben Cherington making those moves. I don't want Ben Cherington deciding whether or not we should trade Mitch Keller and who we should trade him for. I don't want Ben Cherington trading any of these rentals for guys who he thinks are gonna come back and provide any sort of value. Because I said the Pirates are gonna be in a pretty decent spot this deadline because they've got some people to trade. And one thing that's interesting about this year is because of the extended wild card, all that stuff, like there aren't too many teams out there that are just like out of it. There's not too many. And so like the Pirates are going to be uniquely positioned to have, I think, a lot of buyers out there in a market where there won't be a ton of sellers. And the Pirates got a lot to sell. So like it could be a big deadline for them. I don't know if it's going to be quite like a Miami Marlins deadline from last year, but I think it's got like potential to do something like that where like you can really reload here. And I don't trust Ben Cherington to do any of that.
Multiple reasons also, by the way. And as you mentioned, there's more than just Reynolds, and they have solid rentals. Like Heaney, he's a rental. He's having a really good year. But there's a potential Mitch Keller trade looming because we discussed that the pitching is really good. The pitching's solidly deep, and you need offense. And there's not many ways to get offense that you need, probably without including Mitch Keller in those plans, because he's a valuable commodity. He's on a pitching side. And like at this deadline you mentioned, guys need pitching offseason as well, right? But not only can you trade him maybe and flip him and get a bat in return, but that gets $17+ million off the books for some years. And maybe that allows you to reinvest into maybe some of your own players for extensions, or go get another bat, through free agent, one or two with that money. You know what I mean? Like that's a way you can actually identify offensive talent and get it here, and then hope that the pitching holds up still without Mitch Keller and continue. But do you trust Ben Cherington to do that? For one, like, do you trust him to make the appropriate trade? Because you've seen what he's been able to do with trades. It's not been great. So do you trust him in doing that? Also, motive. And I say that because are the trades and the moves he's going to do going to be the right ones, or going to be the right ones for him? And what I mean by that is this is a guy who's fighting for his job. He's trying to keep it. Is he going to make the correct value, or the trade that's going to do best for him going into 2026 to save his job? And I'm not saying that can still be the wrong trade. Like you had this package was the best package value, but you're taking maybe a lesser one because it's more impactful for 2026 in some way or another.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm taking that trade, because if I take this trade, that's not going to come to fruition. It's not going to help me so much for next year. I need to save my ass. Like he's in save my ass mode. And so do you trust a guy who's in that mindset? I don't know.
Well, I
I'm not
know.
saying this is. I'm not saying.
I know, and the answer is no. Like I don't trust Ben Cherington to do anything at this point.
Well, and here's what I'm going to say to that, and this is why. Like, I'm not saying this is the reason he did it before. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but it's like Neil Huntington made a trade that was way off the mark of Neil Huntington, and it was a Chris Archer trade. Like, do you want the Chris Archer trade happening all over again? Because you have a guy who's like, I need to save my ass. Here's Connor Griffin. Here's. I'm not saying it's going to happen.
I don't think that's
going
to happen. But yeah,
I'm also just saying, do you want this guy who's in save my ass mode to say, you know what? Here's my desperation trade, and then it sets the Pirates back some more.
Yeah, I think if any desperate things happen, it's going to occur during the off season as opposed to the deadline.
I agree, but again, if he's here, he's doing that.
Yeah. I don't think he's going to do anything drastic like trade Connor Griffin. I don't know if he's even going to do anything drastic. Like, and we've seen him so far operate the way he has, and he doesn't seem to be the guy who takes too many risks. So
yeah, that was Neil.
Yeah, but they were in different spots. I mean, I think we can argue the 2018 Pirates were in a little bit of a different spot than where we're at right now, or that was 2018, right? Yeah. No, that was 20.
Different?
Well,
different
they were winning.
In the sense of they were
winning
outside competing.
Like the 2018 Pirates were 2 games away from a wild card spot when that Chris Archer trade happened. So,
technically speaking, yeah, but you could argue Ben feels he's in the same spot. And you could argue like next year they should be.
I wouldn't argue that. They're nowhere near the same spot. So I don't know. It's just time for him to go. And every day that passes is just another day where he's got to make a decision. Like,
well, here's the issue. You think they're not. And if they're not, he needs to go. But he's selling himself. He's selling Bob Nutting that they are. And that's what I'm alluding to. Like, it doesn't really matter what we think. It's what he thinks. And if he thinks next year we're 2 games away from a wild card type of team, you need to put that type of team out there. And that type of team might be, we need a Chris Archer. We need that type of a trade. Like, that's what I'm alluding to. Because if you're not that type of team next year, if they're not even the 2018 Pirates in 2026, there's a huge problem here. Like you see what I'm getting? The 2018 wasn't that great of a team. There was a lot of smoke and mirrors, and that's why that trade was also debatable if they should have made it or not. But regardless, if you're trying to compare 2026 Pirates to 2018 Pirates, that alone, like send this clip to Bob Nutting. That alone is, hey, this guy needs fired.
Yeah,
they need to be past that.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're in agreement here. I think we're in agreement here as far as like what needs to happen. Like, I think all of us were on the fire Ben train last season, and the fact that they just brought him back and this is what's happening. Again, it's a gigantic step backwards.
Yes.
They're going to lose 95 plus games this year.
Right. They're on pace they're basically just slightly better than 2022 Pirates. That was year 3 of that rebuild.
And in 2021, I think he said we're going to win a lot sooner than people think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I still have
When's that happening?
Very accessible. Ben Gamble. Cal Mitchell recently DFA'd by the White Sox. Cal Mitchell. Daniel Vogelbach. Kevin Newman. Michael Chavis. Jason DeLay. Those were starters on that team.
I feel like that team was better.
They didn't have Paul Skeens. Take Paul Skeens out.
But like offensively, that team had, Rodolfo Castro, who played decent, had Jack Swinski, who was playing decent at the time. Brian Reynolds had a good year that year. Brian Hayes had a good year that year. That was Cruz's rookie year. Like even Kevin Newman was basically like a league average hitter. Like
they had an 82 weighted runs created plus that year. They were at 77 this year.
Yeah, they're worse. They are.
Yeah.
They're very worse. They're 7% worse offensively this year.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah.
I don't know how he does it. I don't know. It's impressive. It's impressive how awful it's been.
It's so impressive. He should update that on his LinkedIn so everyone can see it.
Have it be part of his resume.
Yeah.
82 weighted runs created plus team in 2022.
Yeah. For the sake of the listeners, should we move on?
Yeah, a couple just news items, I guess. Edward Florentino, who we talked about last Monday. That was we've talked about him a decent amount. Murphy, who's been on a few times, one of his favorites as far as like a breakout candidate, had a really good season in the Dominican Summer League last year. Played in the Complex League earlier, lit it up. He's been promoted to Bradenton, so that's a nice, interesting development. Last night we found out Antoine Kelly was promoted to Altoona from Greensboro, so he's another guy who kind of, again, sort of like bursting on the scene this year. He's throwing the ball a lot harder, added a ton of velocity. And again, he has a 3.03 ERA in about 60 innings. His strikeout rate 10.6 per 9, not walking people, 2.91 FIP. Like, he's having a really good season. And we talk about Greensboro and that environment. Like, that's a tough environment to be a pitcher in. And Kelly has dominated this first half of the season. So that's a well-earned promotion. I'm curious to see how he does in Altoona against some slightly more advanced hitters. But yeah, nice promotion there for Kelly. And when it comes to Greensboro, now it's just like Esmerlyn Valdez had another great week last week. Like, he's the next guy who I think needs to go to Altoona. Like, let me push him a little bit. I mean, it's clear that the South Atlantic League just isn't super challenging for him. So let's put him up in Altoona and see what he can do. Because like I see, he's leading the league in homers. He had another massive week this week. His OPS is like 1,050 right now, which, I mean, sitting on at June 23rd with an OPS over 1,000, like, just get this dude up. There's nothing else I think he can prove in Greensboro. So yeah, there's it's nice to see some movement. Like, we've seen some guys move from the Complex League to Bradenton. We've seen some guys move from Bradenton to Greensboro. This is really the first guy we've seen move from Greensboro to Altoona. So hopefully Valdez is next. I
agree. Yeah. Shout out. Kudos to Antoine Kelly. Good year. Like you said, the home runs. I mean, he's in Greensboro, 0.6 home runs per 9. Like, that's a fantastic home run rate for a pitcher. And he's doing that in Greensboro. So very interested in that. And then you mentioned with Valdez, man, if this is like the prospect of the year for the Pirates, I mean, Connor Griffin also, like, they can have a battle, but like, Esmerlyn is just, that dude's fun. I don't care that he's performing, but that dude just looks fun. You want to talk about a vibes guy. I really am like pulling for Esmerlyn Valdez to be something, because like, I want him to be a Pirate. He needs to be a Pirate at some point in time. So please do the things to be good to get there. And he's showing it right now. Like, I know it's Greensboro, so like, you take that, like, it is Greensboro. And yes, one of those home runs came off of like a pitcher who was throwing softball. But regardless, it's still 19 home runs he has in Greensboro. He's batting 319, 400, 625 slugging, 180 weighted runs created plus as a 21-year-old in high A. The knock on him was his contact rate. Like, yeah, it's cool you're doing this down there, but like, you can't really make contact with the baseball. That's improved. Like, the things you want to also see improve have done so. So I'm ready to see him in AA, better talent, different environment, better environment, not so much home run heavy, and see if he can do it there. And yeah, like, what's this guy going to be? And I need him in that clubhouse.
Yeah. The vibes for him definitely off the charts. Like, I know when we posted on Instagram, Antoine Kelly was promoted last night. The first comment was Valdez and like congratulating Kelly, which
in like 45
cool.
seconds.
Yeah, like, it was immediately. He's got like a Antoine Kelly filter on his Instagram or something like that. But he was a guy, and I think what's interesting here is it's a positive development because like Valdez was on the radar heading into this year, very much so. He led the Florida State League in home runs last year, 22 homers. But there were signs where it was like, all right, is this real as he continues to progress through the minors? Because he struck out a lot. He had 31% strikeout rate. Just the contact wasn't there. This year, he's addressed that. The contact rate is way up, strikeout rate's down. He's still walking a good amount, but in the power has taken even a larger step forward. So I think that's where the difference is here, where it's like, oh, yeah, there might be something here. Let's push this guy a little bit because, like I said, the power outstanding. I mean, he's pacing for like 38 homers right now in high A, which is insane. Yeah, get him to double A, see what he can do. I don't think there's anything else he can prove in high A. So let's see what he's got.
Absolutely. I'm excited for that kid. But yeah, so congratulations to Florentino and Kelly for the promotions as well. And hopefully the soon to be promotion by Valdez.
Yep.
All right. So lastly, we do have the Brewers to discuss. The Pirates will face the Milwaukee Brewers. Where do we want to start with this? Other than the Brewers have a better offense than the Pirates. I can tell you that.
Yeah, they're a lot better. A lot of guys having really good seasons. Yelich just red hot. They've got a 27-year-old. This is just like this kind of stuff never happens to the Pirates. They have a 27-year-old minor league Rule 5 pick who they called up, and he's got a 117 weighted runs created plus and a 1.3 WAR after 2 months. Like, what is I don't know what an Isaac Collins is. This dude this was a 9th round pick out of Creighton in 2019. He was on Colorado. And Colorado didn't even think it was a good decision to even like protect him on their minor league teams when he was 24 years old and like in AAA. And Milwaukee was like, all right, we'll take him. And now he's turning into he'd be one of the best players on the Pirates. That Isaac Collins, like this is the stuff. Like again, it's just frustrating because you see this stuff happen with every other team where they just like get a lot out of guys who. I don't know what's going on with them. But yeah, Isaac Collins, he's red hot. Joey Ortiz, who has been struggling, he's starting to turn things around. And then, Churio, Frelick, Contreras, I mean, you can go up and down. This lineup is strong. And, the Pirates are going to have to face Peralta on Tuesday. And then the matchup I'm really looking forward to is 23-year-old Jacob Mizorowski, who has started 2 games so far. He's baseball's 27th prospect, according to Fangraphs. But he's dominated. He's thrown like 11 innings so far, and he's given up 1 hit. 11 innings, 1 hit. So he's been dominant, and he's going right up against Paul Skeens. So that Wednesday game is kind of like the highlight of this series for me. Mizorowski, Skeens, that should be like if you like really good stuff and really good pitching. Mizorowski throws 102, 103. Like he's got insane stuff. That should be a really, really fun game for guys who like pitching.
Yeah, quite the phenom there. I'm interested in that. Yep, I really want to see that matchup. It's same story. I'm not afraid, I feel like, of any lineup for the most part when it comes to the Pirates pitching side. Like they seem to be able to take care of business. And even when they're not on, they find a way to still at least put a normal team, keep them in the game. It just comes down to this offense. But yeah, man, Milwaukee's offense is clicking right now too. That's one thing. Like overall, when you look at it, it's not like one of those fearful offenses like the Dodgers or like when the Phillies were playing stuff like this is really good offense overall not, but they're clicking right now. They really are. You talk about Yelich is just going off right now. His last 105 plate appearances, a 190 weighted runs created plus. It's batting 385, 438, 604 slugging. Why do I put those numbers out there? Because the guy who I know is going to listen to this show right now. And there's a guy that I know is going to say, yeah, I put out a tweet right when it started. and saying how bad contracts are what kills small market teams and guys like Yelich cripple them. But since you tweeted that, Mr. Listener, he's been dominating.
And the Brewers,
but regardless,
Brewers are winning games too.
Rhys Hoskins I know he had a bad year last year. This is why you signed Rhys Hoskins. He's doing what he should have done last year. Unfortunately, he didn't for them, but he's doing it this year. This lineup's good. The pitching's good enough. This is a good team. I mean, they weren't playing that well early on, but like this, they're kind of showing right now, like this is a team that we thought, I mean, them and the Cubs would be fighting for probably tops of the division. And I think they're showing right now this is why they thought that. Now the Cubs have taken off. They're leaps and bounds better, I feel like, than the maybe not leaps and bounds, but they're definitely better, I feel like. But the Brewers are a good team for sure. So they're going to be a tough matchup all around. I mean, we know the deal though. We know the deal. This is a team that could go out there and sweep the Phillies because they're pitching so good. If they can just give 3 runs a game, there's a chance.
That's really all it is. Like they just need to hit a little bit. And they got a chance, especially with Skeens going one of these games. Yeah, but I mean the Brewers, they have been playing really good baseball. They're 43-35. They're 3.5 games out of first place. So like as good as the Cubs have been, the Brewers have sort of kept pace with them over the last month or so. They've won 4 in a row now. They're really good at home, 23-15 at home, which the Pirates have to go to Milwaukee this week for that. Yeah, I didn't realize that Hoskins was having as good as a year as he is. He has turned it up quite a bit. Yeah, it's a good lineup. And again, they face Peralta, who is having another good season. He's really the only guy in that rotation outside Mizorowski where like you're like, all right, this guy's really good. The rest of it is somewhat pedestrian. But yeah, Peralta.
I was going to say, however, yeah, pedestrian equals Cy Young's to Pirates.
Pedestrian does equal good. Pedestrian does equal good against the Pirates typically. So yeah, hopefully the bats hopefully yesterday can just kind of carry into this. Like they had a really good game yesterday. They hit some extra base hits. Everybody for the most part was getting involved. Let's see if it can carry over to this week. I don't know. I feel like momentum's not really a thing in baseball, but these guys got to start hitting. And you saw yesterday that it can work if everybody's hitting, or even just, a good chunk of people. So the guys who have been bad need to be better, and the guys who were good and are slumping need to unslump, which is Cruz. Like I need to see Cruz. Let's see Cruz bust out this series. He needs to get back on track more than anything right now.
He does. And also B-Ray. Let's hope June B-Ray is actually back. Let's hope non-wife pregnant B-Ray is also a thing, right? Shout out to Bucko.
Yeah, hey, ever since he came back from paternity leave, he had the nice game on Sunday.
So let's hope those are all real things, because then that's all in his favor now to be a good baseball player again. So there's that. But yeah, I mean, you say Cruz, but Reynolds too. Like this top third has to produce, and then you hope things start falling in place, right? Maybe Spencer Horwitz is finally getting his groove back on. That would help, right? Nick Gonzalez is back. This lineup be a little bit deeper. That would help. But yeah. So at least Wednesday will be really, really fun to watch. At any rate, let's hope the Buccos can take 2 out of 3, so that way they can get back to this winning team on their 120 game pace for the rest of the year, to prove Ben Cherington correct.
Yeah, Donnie Ball is starting to slip a little bit. So we need Donnie Ball to get back on track. Don Kelly is now 19-22 as the Pirates manager, which is 7 more wins than Sheldon and 4 less losses. So it's been a significant upgrade in terms of just level of play. We're still seeing the same old offensively, but the pitching has kind of risen them, at least to the point where they're almost playing 500 ball under Don Kelly.
Yeah. I'll say this here. I don't dislike Don Kelly. So far, I kind of like what I see. Short, but at that pace, we're still talking about getting Shelton fired. Like if this is Derek Shelton, like at that pace for this year, we'd be saying Shelton needs to go. So
yeah, I mean, Kelly's basically playing at that 76 win pace that they've been at the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Let me rephrase that. Kelly's not actually playing anything. The team is playing the same as they've been over the last couple of years.
Kelly's playing it. He's playing the strings of the team.
There you go.
There it is. He's the puppet master of the Pittsburgh Pirates. All right. Well, anything else before we get out of here?
I don't think so. I'm really looking forward to Jim Callis this week.
Same.
Draft coming up in a couple weeks. Bunch of mock drafts out there. I think the Pirates are gonna. This isn't necessarily a very deep draft in terms of hitting, I don't think, but there's quite a bit of pitching that's towards the top of that list that's interesting. And I know, everyone probably wants another hitter to be added into this system, but we've kind of shown that we can develop pitching prospects. So if there's a good one that falls to them, watch out. There could be a. Yeah, I'm curious to see how the draft shakes up, but we'll be talking about it with Jim Callis from MLB.com this week.
Yep, same. Definitely excited for that. And then, of course, if you haven't done so already, go ahead, like this video. Leave us a comment too. Tell us how terrible we are. We always really appreciate that. And then, leave a good review on Apple, Spotify, whatever it is. Do all the fun stuff. We love and appreciate you guys.
And if you're in town, stop by the fair and get some coffee. If you're not in town, go online and get some delivered to you.
That's right. That's right. Good coffee. Good stuff.
Yep.
They have a lot more than coffee too. I'll say that. Their online site's pretty sweet. So go check them out.
What day is Jim Callis? Is Thursday, right?
Yes.
Thursday night.
God, now I need to double check that. I do believe so. I believe we said it on Thursday. Yeah.
That's our off day. So
yeah, there it is. Yeah, that's right. Then it was for sure Thursday. Yep. Thursday, Jim Callis. It'll be fun. Close enough to the draft. So, all right. So we'll see you guys later. We love you all. Bye-bye.
See you guys. All right, that wraps up this episode of North Shore 9. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whether you're listening on the podcast or catching us on YouTube, if you enjoyed the show, please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps us grow. And if you're listening on the podcast, a quick review goes a long way in helping others find the show. Plus, be sure to tell a friend about us. There's always room for more here in the NS9 community. And for those looking to support us a little more, consider joining our Patreon, become an MVP member, and get exclusive perks while helping us continue to bring you more of the Pirates content you love. Thanks again for all your support, and let's go Bucks.